arc of the universe bends toward justice thing? What does it say about civil rights that the great civil rights policy progress made by this Democratic president has been made by him overturning the discriminatory policies signed into law by the last Democratic president? On the campaign trail in 1992, Bill Clinton said he wanted to overturn the ban on gay people serving in the military. Instead, Bill Clinton signed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which codified that ban for 17 more years. It is just now in the process of getting repealed. Mr. Clinton also signed into law the Defense of Marriage Act, which makes it illegal for the federal government to recognize same-sex marriages, which defines marriages as opposite sex only, and which prevents same-sex marriages from being recognized across state lines. So anybody in a same-sex couple who's allowed to get married in one state, say Massachusetts or Iowa, cannot have that marriage recognized in any other state. If you're straight and you get married in New Jersey, you are also married, say, in Kansas. But if you're gay, your rights kick in and out like cell phone roaming charges while you cross state lines. Thanks, President Clinton. But now today, the Obama administration announced in a letter to the Speaker of the House that it would no longer defend that law. It will no longer defend the Defense of Marriage Act in court. Now, DOMA is still law of the land. It still precludes same-sex couples from enjoying 1,138 federal rights and responsibilities that are enjoyed by opposite-sex couples. But from now on, when that law is challenged in court, the government, the Justice Department, will no longer defend it, will no longer argue that it is constitutional. This seems like a big deal. Joining us now by magical satellite things that get us connected between Lawrence and where he is Tobias Wolff. He's law professor at the University of Pennsylvania. He's legal advisor and LGBT policy chair for the Obama campaign in 2008. Mr. Wolff, thanks very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rachel. It's a pleasure.
What does this decision by the Justice Department mean practically in terms of gay rights? I know the law doesn't change right now, but what do you expect this is going to mean?
Well, the Justice Department and the President have done two things. The first, as you described in your intro, is about the constitutional challenges to the Defense of Marriage Act itself. And they have said that they are no longer going to defend the constitutionality of this discriminatory statute. That by itself is a big deal. But they've done something else which is arguably even more important. The President and the Attorney General have concluded that as a general matter, anti-gay discrimination is presumptively unconstitutional, that when states or the government pass laws or adopt policies that disadvantage gay, lesbian, and bisexual Americans, that action requires heightened or careful constitutional scrutiny because it is presumptively an unconstitutional form of discrimination. It's the first time that the U.S. government has ever placed its credibility and its power behind that position, and I think it's going to have an impact not just on the DOMA litigation, but on civil rights litigation all around the country.
What does it mean that the Justice Department won't defend this law anymore? But it's clear, even by the fact that this is announced through a letter to Speaker Boehner, that it's clear that Congress has the opportunity to defend the law if it wants to. What does that mean?
Well, so the United States has made it clear that they're going to stay in this case as a party to the lawsuit. And there are provisions in the law already for Congress, the leadership in the House, for example, if they think it's a good idea to get involved in the lawsuit, perhaps to intervene as parties in the lawsuit and to mount their own defense to the lawsuit. The courts are the ones that are going to have to make a final determination about the constitutionality of this statute. And it's actually probably helpful to the courts to have arguments being made, even if they're bad arguments, so that the court can consider them carefully and reject them. But the practical impact of the U.S. government placing its prestige behind the proposition that gay people cannot be made second-class citizens under our Constitution, it's difficult to overstate. I think it's really going to change the tenor and perhaps also the outcome of these pending lawsuits.
Professor Wolff, there have been a number of administrative policy changes on gay rights issues during the Obama administration. Of course, the huge issue of repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Now this has happened. As somebody who's really made this his professional life's work, and as somebody who worked on Mr. Obama's campaign on these issues, do you feel satisfied with what he's done? Do you feel satisfied with the pace at which he is tackling these issues? Do you think he's doing all he can do?
Well, I've got to tell you, I think there are two things to be said. The first is Barack Obama has been president for a little over 2 years, 2 years and 1 month. And the amount that he has gotten done in that period of time on gay rights and indeed on a whole range of issues is breathtaking. It has been a monumental series of achievements, including for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender rights in this country. And the second thing to say is that there's more work to do. Gay and transgender people don't have employment protections in the workplace under federal law. Same-sex couples are still treated unequally under federal immigration laws. There's more work to do, and I think the president realizes that there's more work to do. But if you ask me, am I happy with the progress that we've made so far? I'm pretty darn happy.
Tobias Wolff, law professor at the University of Pennsylvania, is a legal advisor and LGBT policy chair for the 2008 Obama campaign. Professor Wolff, thanks very much for joining us this evening. It's good to have your input.
Thank you, Rachel. It's great to be here.